And what is going on, everyone on YouTube? This is Mark Gaming, owner of Mark Gaming TV, coming at you with a reaction video to the Alabama versus Georgia game that took place tonight. And boy, what a hell of a game it was. If you guys saw it, you know what I'm talking about. It was a heck of a game to behold. And if you didn't see it, my question to you is, where were you at? And you should have been watching the game, because it was a heck of a game. You had to pretty much see it to believe it. But we're going to go ahead and dive into it. The first the first four scoring drives were all Alabama. Jalen Milroe ran it in himself, made it 7-0. Jalen Milroe, 16-yard pass, or Jam Miller, 16-yard pass from Jalen Milroe, 14-0. Jermaine Bernard, 7-yard run, made it 21-0. Early second quarter, Jalen Milroe, 36-yard run, 28-0. And honestly, at this point, 12:32 left in the second quarter, I thought it was over, because not many teams can say they've come back from being down 28-0 this point in the game and live to tell the tale. Well, later in the second quarter, Trevor Etienne ran it in from 7 yards out, made it 28-7. Then Alabama gets a safety. We're going to halftime. It's 30-7. A lot of people thought at this point, Alabama's got it. It's over. There's no chance. Well, Georgia finally decided to come out and play in the second half. Carson Beck, midway through the second quarter, threw it to Arian Smith with a 2-point conversion to boot, made it 30-15. Then Alabama tacked on a field goal near the end of the third quarter, made it 33-15. Still down by 18. But this is where it gets interesting in the fourth quarter. Carson Beck, 8-yard pass to Lawson Lucky, makes it 33-21. Dylan Bell, 3-yard run, makes it 33-28. Then Dylan Bell, a 67-yard pass from Carson Beck. He did fail the 2-point conversion, making Georgia leading the game 34-33. But the next play after the kickoff, Jalen Milroe hits up Ryan Williams, 17-year-old Ryan Williams, for a 75-yard pass, and they did get the 2-point conversion. Then on Georgia's final drive, they had to do something. They were marching it down the field. They got it to the 20, and Carson Beck ended up throwing a pick, and that's how we end the game. So Alabama was up 28-0. Georgia came back and actually took the lead late in the fourth quarter, outscoring Alabama 34-5 from the late second quarter, or early second quarter, I should say, all the way up until the fourth quarter, 34-5, and Alabama gets a huge pass from Jalen Milroe to end the game. Let's look at some stats, and then we're going to talk about what's next for these two teams. So, Jalen Milroe went 27 of 33 for 374 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also ran the ball for 16 times for 117 yards. So by himself, Milroe had 491 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. And Ryan Williams, who I just mentioned, had the game-winning touchdown, had 6 catches for 177 yards and a touchdown. Ryan Williams is going to be a future NFL player. Maybe not, maybe not next year. He probably won't go to the draft next year. But I say give it 2 years or 3 years, he's going to go to the draft, and he will be a top 3 candidate at this rate, the way he's been playing. Carson Beck played a pretty solid game too. He threw some picks early in the game, but he came out in the second half, and he brought Georgia back from the brink of defeat and almost stole the win. But nonetheless, he threw the ball for 27 of 50, 439 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Trevor rushed the ball for 12 times, 55 yards, and a touchdown. So overall, the passing game was really good for Georgia. Running game, they still got a lot of work to do if they truly want to be a complete team. Fumbles were really the story in the game. Carson Beck, Trevor, and Anthony Evans all fumbled the ball. Granted, only one time was it actually lost. That was by Carson Beck. So just looking at it, it was a clash of two heavyweight titans in week 4. It was really the result that you would expect from a clash of two heavyweight titans in this game. I believe I said in the preview, I believe I said the final score was going to be somewhere around 45-34 or something like that. So somebody can check me on that to make sure. But nonetheless, what's next for the two teams, you ask? Georgia Bulldogs. Next week they take on Auburn, who is really struggling. So I expect Georgia to go in there and really show Auburn who's boss. Then we come into town to play Georgia. Mississippi State, might I add, and we are probably going to lose by 40 or 50. Then they got to play at Texas in 3 weeks. That is going to be the key game for Georgia to see how good they really are. Because, you know, they did lose to Alabama tonight, but they are a pretty solid team. If, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see, though, how the Texas game, how they do against Texas, and we're going to go from there because they still have some tough games down the road as well. Now, that being said, let's talk Alabama. Alabama coming up next week. I believe they play Vanderbilt. Then they play South Carolina. Then they go on the road to play Tennessee. Then they play Missouri. Then they're on the road again at LSU. Then they got to go on the road again at Oklahoma a couple weeks after that. So Alabama has some tough road games, and I even thought Vanderbilt in that conversation of tough road games because even though Vanderbilt's record may not show it, they're 2-2. They are a pretty solid team themselves. You know, Alabama cannot afford to underestimate any of these teams. So that being said, that's what Alabama and Georgia are looking at for the next couple of weeks. Honestly, I expect both teams to be really strong down the stretch, and we'll probably see both teams end up making the playoffs. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think overall of the game? And where do y'all think Alabama and Georgia go from here? Don't forget to leave comments below in the comment section. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can subscribe on the channel and know when other videos are coming out in the near future. Until then, guys, Mark Gaming signing off.